Hey, welcome everyone to NEKO ALPHA. This is episode 3, where we're bringing you the hot alpha and info and commentary on the NFT scene here in Japan. I am Reno.
And Neil.
And Steve. It's great to be here with you guys again.
So yeah, we're your hosts. And please remember, this is not financial advice. Do your own research. It's the commentary, it's the info sharing, education, and entertainment. So we're going to jump right in, start with some alpha first, some updates, some other stuff. And so here we go. Take it away, Neil.
So on our last show, we looked at murakami.flowers and mentioned that the mint that was talked about dropping in February was delayed. We still don't have a date on that, but what happened a couple of days ago is Murakami announced that everybody with a Clone X Murakami drip would be getting whitelist. There was about 1,000 responses, and looking through, it was about 90%, 95% kind of negative. People saying, "Oh, so I was on your mailing list, but does that mean I don't get it?" So I think this is a good example of how the communication could be better, because he said who gets the whitelist, but it wasn't clear. He's never mentioned how many are dropping. Actually, Artifact also tweeted, and they clarified that number. He hinted at it in his Instagram that there would be 108 times 108, which is 11,664. And if you look at the Murakami drip trait in Clone X, there's 2,916. And it turns out that's exactly 25%. So this is something that was planned well in advance. If he had just said 25% is going to Murakami drip holders, we'll let you know more about the other 75% later, everybody would just have gone, okay, there's nothing strange about giving whitelist to your holders. And especially some people will know that the Clone X were issued with 2 different licenses. So all of the non-Murakami drips come with a license that lets you do something commercial with your Clone X and profit from it up to $1 million. The Murakami drip don't have that, right? So, and yet the Murakami drip trade is at a 2080 floor. So, yeah, I just think this is a good example of how a little bit more communication would have made that way smoother.
Yeah, and perhaps exactly like we were talking about last time, exactly what he said. Didn't want to really do the Instagram thing, or sorry, the Discord thing, too complicated, too worried about it just being flooded with spammers and stuff like that. In this case, maybe if you had that community, this would have been effectively communicated. So
yeah, perhaps. Certainly that would be a place to do it. But I mean, it could have been done here on this announcement too. Just being clear on the details makes a big difference, and
totally,
and it helps with that kind of backlash on the comments, which is, I can't imagine any artist likes that.
Yeah.
So now moving to the other end of the spectrum, our second update is on Bobu, which we announced that was minting. So the Azuki folks, of course, are really polished on their communications. They've been teasing the Bobu thing for well before the Azuki mint. They built a whole story around Bobu. I was unable to mint because it started at 2 a.m. on Japan time. And I thought, well, there's only one per wallet. There's 20K. I'll be up 7 a.m. I should still be able to mint there. This minted out in about 3 or 4 hours.
So you missed
4 hours. So it was I missed it.
Yeah.
So it was at 0.01, and then the mint day, of course, there was a lot of FOMO and excitement. So it jumped up to about 0.12, and I think now it's down. What do we got here? We're at about 0.64 now, right? We're just still 6 times mint, and interesting to see 15K owners. So I think that was the intention, that they were hoping that they would get a lot of individual owners. They They originally said that phase one of the mint would be one per wallet. And then, after 24 hours, it goes to phase two. So then it's 100 per wallet. So they thought, well, if they don't mint out in a day, then that 100 per wallet thing will take care of it, right? But they never got there because it was only about 4.5 hours and it was all gone.
Yeah. And really good promotion and such an interesting, like the first, I guess it is kind of it's the first larger scale example of fractionalizing. Yeah.
In this kind of collection. Yeah. So it seems to have really gone over well. And here's just an example again of good communications, right? So Sagabon.eth, one of the team following up saying, exciting day, Bobus. So once the initial excitement tapers off, here's what to expect. So lots of great ideas about what to do, that because they're asking for community input, then very few feasible proposals. Oh shit, it takes a great amount of operational work to get anything done. Impatience from short-term members, then one idea starts to take off, right? And this is exactly what does happen. We've certainly seen that in Doodle Bank, and projects that have tried to crowdsource ideas from the community. So again, they're setting expectations for sort of don't expect, tons of things to happen from day one. Moving on to our next topic. So I'm going to pass this one over Steve.
Thanks, Neil. So we've got an event coming up. It's a metaverse only NFT exhibition, and it's running from April 29th until May 5th.
NFT Festa is an indie creators exhibition event that aims to connect people through the metaverse and help open new doors. With a click of a button, visitors can enter the venue without any external wallets, registration, or any fees whatsoever.
So thanks, Neil. That's the video that's on the on Twitter and on their website. It's kind of interesting. We don't think of a lot of stuff happening yet in Japan, but we've got a Japanese team, and promoting it overseas. We've got a Japanese team who is running this metaverse only exhibition, NFT exhibition, putting a video on the website and on Twitter with English narration and Japanese subtitles. So they're certainly, they're promoting this here in Japan, but they're also really trying to promote overseas, and the website is in both Japanese and English. But what they're doing is they're going to have 500 slots for the exhibition. 350 will be images, 100 video, and 50 for 3D models. We're recording on March 9th, but on March 13th is the deadline for submission. So anybody listening to this or interested, you've got a few days to go. But if you've got something that is already minted, you should be eligible to submit it. There are very strict formatting requirements for what you submit, but any kind of NFT, any kind of token, any kind of chain, it looks like will be acceptable. No restrictions there. You guys have any comments?
Yeah, there'd be obviously, given that it's based here, I'm sure it'll be dominated by small batch Japanese projects, more art focused NFT stuff. But it is an opportunity, for anyone who can get in by March 13th. It is an opportunity to have your stuff, shared directly with the Japanese community. So anyone who's out there listening who wants to give it a go, there'll be a link down below in the comments, or not in the comments, but in the description. Check it out.
So moving right along, next on our list is we've got Astro Boy Japan NFT. So the creator of Astro Boy comes from Tottori Prefecture. So this looks like a tie-up with the city of Tottori and the studio Tezuka, who own the IP. And so here's the big press release. It mentions Zana. It's on the Zana sidechain. There's a form now up. So for whitelist, we'll have the link down below. Here's the page, I think. Yeah, here we go. So it's all English. So they're again, reaching out. So this is by so JTB, Japan's biggest tourism company, and Tottori Prefecture local government, and Tezuka Productions. So I think we'll be sort of doing some more analysis on what, you know, what's happening with these projects. But we're seeing some big players moving in with these projects. So I think we'll do that in a later show. But for now, the thing to know is whitelist happening here. Again, we'll have the link below, and they've got a bunch of, I think if you just enter, you're in, but they have all these things you can, if you want to do some grinding, then you can get some more chances to win.
It's a real iconic Japanese character. Like, even if you don't know the name Astro Boy or Atom, the original Japanese name, even if you don't know that name, chances are you've probably seen imagery of Astro Boy before. It's been around since the early 50s of the last century, and pretty much every Japanese person, I would say, knows what this is. It's an interesting example, like these larger companies, these larger publishers who hold a lot of IP that has a real strong foothold in Japan are starting to get involved. This is an excellent example of that.
And if I may, it's showing how, I fear how corporate NFTs will become in Japan. And we hope that some independent artists and some other projects that are not fueled and driven by, the mega corporations in Japan can do something.
I definitely agree, especially in this new frontier that independent Japanese artists will rise to the fore and take control of their work, through Web3 implementations and tools and stuff like that. So
yeah, I guess the question is, will independent artists or projects be able to break through and then be adopted by a corporate interest? So it's not the case where something organically grew, like a Bored Ape Yacht Club or an Artifact, and then was had some tie-ups with corporates. It's going the opposite. So we'll have to see how things go.
Yeah, I think if we, if those independent artists are part of the NEKO Alliance, I think they'll do well.
Yeah, funny you should mention that, Neil. I was going to say the same thing. Like if only there was an organization getting started here in Japan that's looking to big up small artists and promote Japanese creativity in a Web3 environment. If only.
And bringing you the hot alpha. And speaking of which, here's our next one for anyone who's needs another pair of shoes. So Japanese brand by Shunji Hoshino Bespoke Shoes is dropping an NFT. I believe it's dropping today. Let's see. Let's go over to the website here. So NFT first collection, Hoshino NFT Tokyo. Here we go. So look at these. These are custom handmade shoes. And if you buy the NFT, you get the NFT. So you get an NFT, digital shoe, and a real shoe.
Is it just one shoe, or
no, two of each.
Oh, that's nice.
Nice. Well, actually, I'm not sure how many digital shoes you get, but I think the real shoe comes as a pair.
That's good.
And so, why is Hoshino releasing NFT shoes? Shoes are the heart of people. Shoemaking is the art of craftsmanship. Shoes are life itself. So,
it's some very very directly translated Japanese to English.
On OpenSea, it looks like 0.25.
I think this is really cool. I'm personally a big fan of when people try to mix their NFT stuff with meatspace, and I think it really helps on ramping, to get people into the space with a physical project, with a physical product, something that they'll also receive. So I'm a big fan of this. I hope it goes well. Yeah, I want to hear the guy yell shoes are life.
Well, those shoes look pretty good. I'm tempted on this one. I like it. So next, this is Takada Bear. And anybody in Japan is going to recognize this character immediately. What everybody uses over here, so the Japanese version of WhatsApp called Line, had stamps from the beginning, I think before WhatsApp had them. And so there's all these people making stamps. This Takada Bear stamp series was very early and very famous. So this guy has got, here's his Twitter. He's got 190,000 followers, and yeah, he's dropping the bear on OpenSea. Or it's dropped actually. That was 3 days ago.
Yeah, okay.
It's dropped now. So we got 101 items, 70 owners. The floor price is 0.279. So I would say that's doing pretty good.
And this seems like fairly independent, probably. Like, dude is just doing it himself, yeah.
Yeah, artist, yeah. So that's the alpha for today. There's a whole bunch. I tried to do the stuff that was most time sensitive. We're actually getting a pretty big list of stuff. So I think we'll start putting more of it in the Discord. If you go to the NEKO Alliance Discord, we have a NEKO Alpha channel. We'll have links. Stuff we cover on YouTube, we'll put links below. But I think we'll, when we have good alpha, we'll start just getting that into the Discord. So if you want the freshest alpha, head over to the Discord. Final thing I want to say on alpha is we often go into sort of a deeper analysis of some things. Today we had a lot to cover, so we didn't. We'll fit that into some upcoming shows.
Hey, Neil, just one little piece of analysis, if possible. You could scroll up on this page, this OpenSea page. I used to have these stickers on my Lion account when I had a free version of them, which I don't have anymore. But I mean, I just want to read the tagline: "Most aggressive dancer you will ever see." I mean, that for me, that says it all. And you can see that happening right above there.
All right. So that's the alpha, yeah? Yeah. All right. Well, as we started in episode 2, we always wanted to just bring in a little story, little anecdote, little nugget about life in Japan, and share that with listeners, and a little bit of insight about what it's like to be here, the things we've done, so on and so forth. So yeah.
So I've got something.
All right.
We're laughing about the aggressive dancing, and I want to turn it to a more serious note. And this is a serious note. We're coming up on the 11th anniversary of the 311 great earthquake in northern Japan, in the Tohoku region.
Right.
And so we, everybody in Japan, I think around the world, thinks back to that moment, and people who were in Japan at that time think back to that. But a few years ago, actually several years ago now, 2015, Reno and I led a production team up to a town called Yuriage in Miyagi Prefecture, which is pretty close to, well, it is in the earthquake zone. And it was amazing. It was a group of middle school students, young girls, who were putting together a VR project to show people what the area was like before the tsunami. That town was wiped out by the tsunami, and it was a great couple of days to be up there, working with them, talking to the students, talking to their teacher, and it turned out to be the way we met Neil eventually. I guess you guys have comments on it, a little bit more color on that.
Yeah, we I was just saying it's almost 7 years ago that we went up there to shoot. We had a colleague here in Tokyo who knew their teacher and knew that these young girls were doing this really cool project just to try to kind of immortalize their town, which was literally when you hear the phrase wiped off the map, like this is completely accurate in this case. It was just gone. There were foundations of homes left, but for the most part it was just gone. And we were up there a little more than 4 years after the tsunami, the earthquake and the tsunami, and there were still piles of rubble that they were trying to deal with, trucks constantly going in and out the whole time we were there, carrying rubble and debris away, just to try to rebuild that place. But anyway, it was really inspiring that these young girls were trying to use technology to sort of show the before and after and sort of preserve, what things were. And another big part of what their thrust was just more education, even for Japanese people, about tsunamis, because it's really like it's a harsh thing. Like, these girls they took refuge on top of their middle school, which did not it was damaged, but it didn't collapse or anything from the earthquake, and wasn't washed away or anything. But these young girls were on the roof of that building and were able to watch. They had to watch people who didn't evacuate soon enough just be consumed by the tsunami. And then the fires started later. Of course, they couldn't get off the building, and then the debris started burning. And it was just this incredible story and this heartbreaking story. But they were trying to do something positive. And so we were up there shooting for a few days, and we produced a small little documentary about that. And we sort of knew Neil a little bit and knew of him, and we reached out to him after we found that there was a strong tie-in with the Canadian. It was Canadian timber industry, or it's a Canadian organization, like Canadian Timber or Canada.
Yeah, it was called Canada Wood. Canada Wood raised several $1 million from government and industry in Canada, and then donated that to Japan. And then the Canada Wood office over here accepted proposals and created I believe four buildings in Tohoku, and 2 of them were in Natori. So one was a library in Natori, is the area where the town that Yuriage is in, and then the another one was the I think it's kind of called Canada House, but it's basically part of the where the market was in Yuriage. And that little part, the little strip where the market was I guess it was sort of like the commercial part of town. So like a lot of small shops and and then the big fish market and everything. And there's 911 people died in the little town of Natori, and 750 of those were on Yuriage, that little flat strip of land, right? And there was really only one bridge out of it, apparently. And there was, some people were telling everybody to evacuate. There could be a tsunami. And I think people were a little bit like, well, we don't see a tsunami, so we're probably okay. But by the time they saw it, it was really too late. And as Reno said, like the school kids were on top of the school, but there's a very flat little piece of land there near there, and there's only one little hill, and that had some kind of shrine on top of it or something, and that a bunch of people climbed that little hill and they were okay. But other than that, everything just all the houses, everything just got completely swept away.
For those who may have seen videos of the tsunami, there's one of the Sendai Airport, which is the big city there. The airport happens to be just south of that area, so you can see how much inundation was happening at that spot.
That was a hard trip. It was a hard production trip in some ways, but it was also really inspiring that these young girls were trying to do this thing and use new technology, and so that we premiered that little documentary at the Canadian Embassy here in Tokyo, and then our romance with Neil just continued after that. and here we are now. Yeah. So a little story about Japan, not the happiest subject, but given that the anniversary is coming up in a few days, seemed appropriate to just mention a little bit of. So then to wrap things up, we got a quick update on the United NEKO Alliance, right?
What do you got?
Wow. Since I have the floor still, one thing I'll just mention, won't go into too much detail, but recent in what's happening right now is really getting the artwork dialed in and getting things high and tight and looking good, clean. But there was one thing I always wanted with the collection that would cross the different families, was a really sweet pair of headphones, and it eluded me for the longest time. And I realized that drawing headphones for a cartoon cat was about as difficult as putting headphones on a real cat. So it took some time to get it figured out, but I finally got a sweet pair of headphones squared away. And so eventually everyone will see what those look like. There's actually another piece of headgear that I also recently squared away, but I'm going to keep that one under wraps for now. But the headphones are sweet. Everyone's going to like them.
I love how they look. I think it's a really good trait or accessory, or whatever we're going to call it.
Yeah, it's fun. It's really fun. Cool. And for those of you who've jumped into our Twitter Spaces or the Discord voice chat, we use an icon there, and there's a NEKO with a headset that has headphones, but it's very much like the old school like office headset with the mic coming down to the mouth. Those are not the headphones that we're talking about. There's something new, something cool, and you'll see them on the NEKOs eventually. So that's probably the nice, quick, easy update from the United NEKO Alliance.
Yeah. On that note, I think it's a wrap.
All right, put a fork in it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.